So yesterday morning at stand-up meeting, Venerable Chuni read something from Sermons in a Monastery. So it got me thinking, and I'll read you that passage in a little bit, that it may be that some people come to a monastery thinking the monastery is going to be the perfect place where everybody's going to be nice to me. I can put the spatula wherever I want. Nobody's going to correct me. And, I'll be able to heal from all my past traumas and everything bad that's happened, because this is going to be just the perfect environment for healing and for supporting me. And then when you come, when you're a guest, and everybody's so nice and so kind, and then you ordain, and then I'll read you this. Okay, so I'm going to put it in like she did in Buddhist terminology. Okay, so oftentimes people come to religious life expecting a place of love, especially love experienced as received. They call this an experience of the Dharma. Yet is it valid? Is a Dharma community a place found where at last everyone treats you right, where no one insults you, no one presumes you, no one takes you for granted, no one pushes your buttons, nobody tells you to get your act together? Yeah. Thus, when a monastic throws up their hands in mock horror with the word, "There is no love in this place," one wonders why he was so long in making that discovery. Dharma is not to find the city of love, but to build it. It is in the building that we discover it. See how they love one another was spoken of Dharma communities by our guests, by outsiders. The Dharma, the monastics, did not experience it that way. They were busy building love. Generally, we do not begin to love until we learn that we live in samsara. It's so important to really be clear what the purpose of a monastery is. It's for us to grow inside of ourselves so that wherever we go, we can be happy people. The purpose of the monastery is not to create the perfect place where we can be happy, where we can heal, where everything's wonderful. What the monastery does, what the Dharma does, is it teaches us the tools that we have to apply to our own mind. Yeah, and that's what the Dharma and the community give to us, is that those tools and the support in practicing those tools. But as we know, samsara is samsara. And, the monastery is no perfect place, So like it said in there, as monastics, we're building the city of love. We're transforming ourselves inside so that we can give to the outside. We're not asking the outside to change to meet our needs. Yeah? Because when is that ever going to happen? Never. Wherever you go in samsara, you're never going to find the perfect environment that is good for you. Because the perfect environment that is good for us is in here. And we have to create it and we have to build it. Yeah. And so that's our job. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. Because if spiritual practice were about setting up an external perfect environment, then we would never get out of samsara. We'll always be running around looking for external perfection, looking for the perfect place to practice, to heal, to do whatever it is we want, okay? But that perfect place is in here. That perfect place is in here. And so we get in touch with it in here. We build it in here. We encourage it. We share it.
Yeah, I've been working through this myself, and during the Geshe Dado retreat, he mentioned a couple times about we have to make sure that once we've entered the homeless life, we're not seeking to create another home.
Right.
And I don't know, it really just stuck in my head for some reason, and I've been thinking about it, and I realized that I have been turning this into a home, and that I'm really clinging on it providing me with comfort and security and regularity. And then I thought, wait a minute, I left my home to drop all of that, to be able to let go of all of that, and yet here it's sneaking back up on me, and I didn't even realize it. And yeah, it's just very humbling, but I guess I can see the strength of the habits and the patterns, how they're there. And also, I expected, the schedule to really help my practice, to kind of be part of my practice, but it hasn't in that way. And Venerable Semke said, don't rely on the monastery to practice for you. You can't rely on just this place as enough. It's going to challenge you probably more than maybe any other place. So it's definitely not a refuge, the monastery setting, even though a lot of people think of it that way.
Well, it is a refuge if you're seeking the Dharma. If you're seeking the Dharma, the monastery is a fantastic refuge. If you're seeking the ideal place where you can always be comfortable and happy, the monastery is not that. Okay. Yeah.
One of the things that has been coming up for me is the sense of uncertainty.
Of uncertainty.
Uncertainty. And sometimes I feel okay with that, and sometimes it hits me how all of a sudden my entire life is uncertain. Because I had relied on certain things to give me that feeling of certainty, and those things are now gone. And so that has made me reflect on what was there that was certain about the life prior to coming to the Abbey. Was it the job? Was it the family? Was it the money? Was it the home? What was it? And then looking at how that was just an illusion of certainty.
Yes.
The job could be lost. I could get into an accident. I could get paralyzed. I could, the money could be gone. The home could burn out. I mean, so many things that could happen because those things were impermanent, and yet there was no. So then that kind of leads me to believe that it's not that I am in a more uncertain situation now.
Coming to terms with it being uncertain.
With the uncertainty of it all. And so it hits me and it shakes me up sometimes. And it feels a bit sometimes scary. But it's not that it wasn't like that before. It's that I was not aware of it. I didn't have a sense of it.
Exactly. So your growth is not a thing of the world becoming, that was certain becoming uncertain. It's not a change in the external. Your growth is the change in you. That says, oh yeah, duh, of course it's uncertain. And that uncertainty, that impermanence, also is what gives the space for me to grow and change. It isn't all negative. Yeah. If everything were certain, I would be fixed in samsara and there would be no way out. So it's the fact that things are changeable that gives us the opportunity to grow. So it didn't change on the outside, it's you changing. Yeah? But then, if it's unsettling, that's when we really see the power of thought. You know? That how changing a thought can make us feel so ungrounded, even when it's only a thought that's changed. And what is a thought? Yeah, when you sit there and look at it, what is a thought? And why are we afraid of thoughts? And why do we let thoughts have such power over us?
There is that thought, but then associated with that thought are other thoughts and feelings and expectations and hopes and all kinds of other things that this thought was the foundation of.
Yeah.
And so I think why it feels so shaky is not because this thought is changing, but also because all these other things that were piled up on top of these thoughts, that were all of these connections, all of these
Yeah.
are also shifting, and all of a sudden the mind becomes a bit, I would say, overwhelmed with that shift. It's, it's not just this, but all the related things that go with that.
Right. But it's interesting too, you know, it's like you said, well, all those things that we've built up, it's like we've built this whole palace, and the palace that never existed is now falling down. Yeah? The thing that never existed is falling down, and we go, but it wasn't there to start with. Yeah?
That's in one of the Lamrim texts, isn't it? Where it says we're like small children building the sandcastle on the beach, and when the tide takes it in, we stand there and we wail and we wail and we wail.
Yeah, Shantideva said that. Yep. Yeah. Except he said we're like small children wailing at a sandcastle. But I'm saying we're wailing at a palace that never existed. Not even the sandcastle we built, but something that was only existent in our mind with all of its expectations and this and that and the other thing, yeah?
To me, this just shows how much the mind is a source of happiness and pain, because even though that palace never existed, the pain that we feel in relation to it is still, we can't deny that.
Yeah.
But so it's amazing that the palace doesn't exist, but we still have such emotional reactivity towards it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to...
Yeah. But then the Buddha says, look closely at even your emotional reactivities and see, do they really exist? And who's the person who's feeling it? Does that person really exist? Yeah. The Buddha's really asking us, to go deeply. And of course, we do that gradually, step by step.